Thank you guys for watching Heroes Next Door. Coming up next is another video from the great guys over at Royerford Fire Company. We're going to be going over their rescue next. Take a look.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second virtual tour of the Royerford Fire Apparatus. My name's Gary Weasel. Today we're going to talk about the rescue truck, Rescue 98. We'll start on the officer side. As Dan had talked about the engine and the officer side is equipped so they have easy access to the county radio for communications. They have access to valuable equipment such as the meters, the thermal imaging cameras, what's called a hot stick, which allows us to make sure that all energy sources have been powered down. Also have headlights for night vision for them in order to see things in the middle of the night. We're going to walk back here to the crew area. One of the things you'll notice with Rescue 98 in its crew area is the jump seats that are on the rear wall all have folding jump seats, which allow for greater access to come in and out of the truck without having something impede their path. You can see in the center console we have multiple pieces of equipment. For our crews in the back, we have portable radios so we can have communications with everybody. We have additional hand lights that they can put on their gear so that during the night or smoky conditions we have better visibility. We have a small variety of hand tools. We have a pickhead axe and we have a flathead axe. Also in the back we have vests that we use for vehicle rescues so that we can increase our visibility to the drivers that are going down the roads for our safety. Each seat is equipped with its self-contained breathing apparatus because this apparatus also functions on fire scenes, so we can utilize it for making entry into a building, for car fires. We have the SCBA for our breathing protection. In the next compartment here, we have tarps and hole runners, which are used for salvage operations. We also have a water can and a dry chemical extinguisher. These devices are used for vehicle rescues on the opposite side when we don't have a hand line stretched. It can also be used for small fires along the roadway. Our next compartment that we come here, we have a big slide out compartment. What you'll see in here is we have various sizes of high pressure rescue bags that enable us to lift anything up to, we have bags that are up to 72 tons, so that if a car would drop on somebody or a piece of equipment, we would have the ability to lift that off of them. We also have on this side here, we have what are called struts. These struts allow us to stabilize a vehicle. We can use the puncturing, the end of it to go into the side of the car if the car is on its side, to stabilize it so that it's not going to roll over on the occupants inside of it or on the rescuers performing the rescue. We can also use the same equipment for stabilization inside a house if we have any of the roof trusses burning down, or we have floor trusses that have been burned away. We can utilize these struts with different tips to support those while we're doing the investigation process to make sure that everything is safe for our personnel inside. Down below here, we have what are called cribbing bags. This allows us to deploy 4 cribbing bags to all 4 corners of a car to help stabilize it. Along with that is we have 4 bases for the struts so that we can tie those into the car to give them quick support. Along with that is we have 2 wheel chocks that are located in here, so if we come upon a car fire, we have a car fire, we can quickly chock the tires so that the car does not roll away on us. Moving back, we get into our rescue compartment. What you'll see here is our tools that we use for vehicle rescue. We have Hamatro tools. Each side is designed that you can walk up either direction. You have access to the spreaders. The spreaders are designed to spread the metal apart to give us access into the patient area or to remove areas of the patient that have been compromised due to the accident. You also have the cutters. This allows us to, when we take off a roof or we have to remove the doors, that we can cut the metal away so that we can remove the occupant from the car. These are rams. They allow us to expand the distance between surfaces so we can push the dash away from a person's legs or feet. In this compartment, we also have the power units for the Hamatro. This is the unit that develops the force for the tools to be able to move or cut material. Inside here, we have our first in bag that has cutters in it so that we can go and cut the glass. We have tarps that we put down. The tarps are designed to put all our tools down so that they're not laying in the roadway or in the mud or in any debris, so we can keep them safe. In these bags here that we have this bag has electrical cords, and it has our electrical sawzalls attached to them. This one has battery operated sawzalls so that we can utilize them in an accident scene or whatever they may be needed. So we have portability to go around the vehicle or in a house where we may need to open up a wall. One of the things you'll see with a rescue truck is we have multiple pieces of equipment that can accomplish the same task. So you're never just limited by one piece of tool. Along top here, we have what are called bottle jacks. So just like we talked about the high pressure bags being able to lift, the bottle jacks can accomplish the same thing. We have bottle jacks from roughly 5 tons to 20 tons to be able to lift things that are on top of people. Coming down here, we have the spare air cylinders. So when we're inside a building and we would use up the air which is inside a cylinder, we can easily come out and get them replaced. Next we have here, which is our cribbing. So what the cribbing is designed for us to stabilize the vehicle. So upon an accident, what we want to do is we want to get the vehicle's weight off of the suspension system and put it onto the cribbing so that we prevent the vehicle from rocking and moving that could possibly cause further harm to the occupants inside. Coming down, one of the things you'll notice with this rescue, this is considered a wet rescue. We have 500 gallons of water on it. We have a 1500 GPM pump that is operating at the rear of the apparatus. And the way this vehicle is designed and laid out, as you can see, we have the pump panel on the officer's side. We have all the rescue tools down the officer's side. So when we pull into an accident scene, we turn it sideways so that the officer's side is facing the incident. Thus, we are protecting our crew and the people in the accident from any oncoming vehicles that may not see the accident scene. Coming to the back, we have our intakes for the pump panel. We also have some of the discharges. We have portable lighting so that we can deploy these at night for accident scenes to light up the scene for scene safety. We have a 24-foot extension ladder. We have a 14-foot roof ladder. We also have a Stokes basket that we can utilize if somebody's down over a cliff or below grade, that we can put them into the Stokes basket and bring them up to the scene. And along in the back, if we look up higher here, the first compartment on the officer's side, which is on the rightmost side, we have larger cribbing. So if we have a large truck or something that we need to take up that space, we use the larger cribbing to help us get it cribbed so that it's stabilized. We also then have 2 3/4 lines that are up there that we can deploy. Both of those 1 3/4 lines are 200 feet long, and then we also have additional flat lay of 1 3/4 line underneath them that we can use to extend it. The white hose that's there is our pre-pipe 2.5. That is 300 feet. And then we have our large diameter hose, which is 500, is a 5-inch line, and there's 1,200 feet of 5-inch that's on that. That is connected to our Oasis valve, which we connect to the hydrant so that we can get water flowing down to the scene to the apparatus. The length that an air bottle can last a firefighter in a call is very dependent on the personnel themselves, their physical level, their health, their age. So a typical, what's called a 30-minute bottle, if you're actively involved in fire suppression, opening up walls or ceilings and all that stuff, is going to typically last a firefighter actively working probably about 15 to 20 minutes at most. All our safety vests are designed as tearaway, so if a car would come flying past and they would grab a hold of it, it would rip that off of our body rather than taking us along with the car down the street. A typical fire call, depending on the situation, if it's a vehicle accident, if they're entrapped, takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Small house fires, probably about 30 to 45 minutes. A large, well-involved house fire could last a couple hours depending on the size of the house. So up top on the rescue here, what we're going to do is we'll start at the very front officer side compartment. We have multiple hand tools in there. We have shovels, pick shovels, spade shovels. As Dan had talked before, if there's an accident scene and we have to put oil dry down, we still have to clean it up. These are some of the tools that are in there. The rescue truck is what you might think of as a large rolling around toolbox. Our next compartment has helmets that we use for low angle rescue, for water rescue type of a situation. We have water rescue vests in this compartment. We have one for everybody that has a seated position in the apparatus, which means there's 8 of them on this piece of apparatus. Our next compartment has what is our ice rescue sled. If this comes out, we have a sled that's designed to go on the ice. Along with that, in this compartment, we have a dry suit. We also have a Gumby suit. We have a sked stretcher, which is designed to wrap around a person for areas that we can't get into. We also have 600 feet of safety rope that we can use to deploy if a person is down over an embankment. Driver's side up front here, we have numerous hazardous materials absorption pads. We have some that won't absorb water, some that do absorb water. We have additional large cribbing in this compartment. And then in the compartment that's right here in the front, we have our pigs and additional absorbent, along with a compartment that houses roughly about 250 pounds of absorbent that I will show you where we can deploy it underneath the truck to then disperse it on this at an accident scene. So coming around the truck, we get to the rear compartment on the driver's side. One of the things that we have here is this truck has the ability to refill the air cylinders that the firefighters use. We actually have 6 4,500 pound bottles, 6,000 pound bottles up top that allow us to refill the cylinders that are on the SCBA. We can fill 2 at a time. We also have, this opens up, comes down, we put the cylinders in, we close this. This is what's called an explosion-proof container. So if something would fail in the cylinder, all the shrapnel would be contained within it. We have 2 buckets and a couple little dispersing jugs of oil dry that we put down when there's fluids at an accident scene to help absorb them and remove them. The next, we have a little air pressure pump, and what this does is, if we would take our bottles on the truck down below the 4,500 psi that we need to get the head pressure on the cylinders to fill them all the way up, this is a booster pump. We can take the volume of air inside the cylinders on the truck and boost up the pressure so we can get the 4,500 psi into the cylinders that we would wear on our SCBA. Down below in this compartment, this has all our rescue equipment. It has all our carabiners, has all the different descendants and ascending devices. Should I open this up a little bit here? So we have different devices that we can use to help lower and raise people, multiple carabiners and blocks inside, along with we have multiple lengths of different rescue rope anywhere from 200 feet to 300 foot lengths. We also have a 9,000 pound winch that can be put on any side of the truck that we can help stabilize a vehicle. We don't use it to pull anything up, we just use it to stabilize. Maybe a vehicle's over an embankment, we can quick deploy that to prevent it from rolling down the hill any further. Next coming up is our hand tool compartment. We use various tools, whether they be the Halligan bar, the married set, which is an axe and a Halligan bar. We have a K tool, which helps us to get through locks, so we can get into a house or a commercial building that may have some locks on the outside. We have additional hand tools on the back, along with tools along the back wall. Each one can serve its own purpose. Again, like I said, a rescue truck is a moving roll-around toolbox. You want to come with, as many pieces of equipment to a scene as possible, because you never know what you may need. Again, we have some additional cylinders. On every truck, there's at least one cylinder for every pack position, so that everybody has a spare bottle. Coming along, we have a belly compartment here. We have high lift jacks. We have pickets. We have small shovels. We have 8-pound sledgehammer, a bunch of equipment depending on what's needed. We have our toolbox. It is a rescue truck, so we have our own little toolbox that's equipped with all kinds of ratchets and sockets, and we even have metering devices. These metering devices here are for radioactivity. We have a building within the borough that goes and washes equipment that's used at a nuclear power plant, so we use that if we have to go in just to make sure everything's safe. We have a K65 saw, which is designed typically to cut metal objects. We have our cutter's edge, which is designed for cutting roofs and woods products. We have an acetylene torch in the back that if we would have to cut through thicker metal, we could use the oxyacetylene torch to do that. This pack that you see here, this setup, this is a RIT pack. It has a spare bottle in it. It has a larger 60-minute spare bottle. Along with it, it has the ability to connect into our packs. Along with it, it has a spare face piece that we can transfer over to a trapped firefighter inside. Here we have our PPV, which is an electric-powered fan. It helps us to move air. We can move smoke out of a building by pressurizing it from the outside and forcing the air out windows. We have additional electrical cords along with the electrical cords that are connected to the truck that are on here. In this compartment, we have our little giant ladder. We have flares. We have bolt cutters. We have electrical wire cutters. We have a kit that allows us to, if somebody would get locked out of a car or things like that, it allows us to help get into the car to open it up for the person. We have spare flashlights for anybody that may be doing fire police to direct traffic around. Next little compartment coming over, we have additional tarps and haul runners for those salvage operations I talked about before, trying to protect as much as the furniture or belongings inside a house from any additional water damage or smoke damage. We have water extinguishers and ABC extinguishers again on this side. The truck's laid out that no matter which side you go out on, you can grab a water can or a ABC extinguisher and salvage equipment to go and use it in the house. We have the driver's side access to the crew area. As we looked at before, the same equipment's on the inside. The ropes that we have on the truck, after every use, we inspect them. And when I talk about inspect them, we inspect them by every inch. We run our hands over them. If we feel a soft spot or if we feel something that's hard inside that rope, they are immediately taken out of service. These are what's considered life safety rope, so that if we would use them for a rescue situation and they get shock loaded or anything like that, which means somebody would drop maybe 5 to 10 feet and put a quick hard load on that piece of rope, that rope is automatically taken out of life safety use and gets cut up and then has become utility rope. So we try to, every time the rope's used, it gets inspected to make sure it's safe for the next situation. Next we have our driver's compartment. As you can see, there's lots of dials and gadgets that show the operation, along with over on the side, and we'll do this so they can see. We have a touchscreen panel, and I don't know if you can see it on there. That touchscreen panel is sort of like your iPad. It allows us to turn on the emergency lights. It allows us to turn on the generator. It allows us to activate different lights around the apparatus. We can also engage our light tower from there that we can put up. We have a light tower that extends 25 feet up in the air. So that gives us the ability to do everything from that touchscreen. On the front, as Dan had showed the last time, we try to keep our apparatus similar so everybody's consistent with things. We have 100 feet of 1 3/4 line on the bumper. It's our bumper line. We use a lot for trash fires. We'll use it for vehicle rescues. We pull it for firefighter safety and for the occupant's safety, just in case there would be an ignition for some reason during the accident. We have the water right there. We have crews right there ready to go to extinguish it to make sure everybody's safe. Feel free at any time to write in any questions you may have on the rescue. We will get back to you with the answers. And once this coronavirus is over with, feel free to stop by the firehouse and get a personal tour. And thank you again very much from the Royerford Fire Department for participating in this virtual tour of the rescue.